Hello, Year 3. We're going to finish off our section of work on number patterns today. So this is a last lesson carrying over from last week. And we've got a very strange arrangement here. This is a machine and it's a sorting machine. So we put numbers in the top here and it sorts them and they come out into these bins underneath, okay? And they're going to be sorted. The first sort that's going to happen is if the number has a 5 or a 0 in the ones place, or if it has a 5 or if it doesn't have a 5 or 0 in the ones place. So if we looked at our first number, 135, the ones place has got a 5 there. So we would be sorting it coming through here. And the next level of sorting is whether it is less than 500 or more than 500. And again, if it doesn't have a 5 or 0 in the ones place, it's going to be less than 500 or more than 500. And then it gets right down to the bottom here and it sorts it out into even or odd numbers. So these bin A will have numbers that are 5 or 0 in the ones place, that are less than 500 and that are even. Bin B will have a 5 or 0 in the ones place. It will be less than 500, but it will be odd numbers that go into this bin, and so on for the other ones. So let's draw a line that shows where 135 would go. So 135 drops down in here, and it has a 5 in the ones place. So it's going to go through this part of the machine because it has a 5 in the ones place. And then it goes down into this one and it gets sorted. Is it less than 500 or 500 or more? It's less than 500, 135. So it's going to come down here. Now we need to say, is it odd or even? And we know that a number that ends in a 5, we can't put them into pairs, so it's going to come down into the odd bucket, bin B, and drop down into there. That is 135. And we did that one in yellow so that we can see where that one went. Let's do a different number with a different colour. Our number here is 638. We'll do this, oh, we can't use green, we'll use pink. 638. With my very wobbly mouse writing. Okay, so our number comes into this top one and it gets sorted into, does it have a 5 or a 0 in the ones place? No, it's got an 8 in the ones place. So it's going to come down that track there. And then it gets sorted. Is it less than 500 or is it 500 or more? It's 500 or more. 638 is more than 500. And we look at the last digit to see whether it is even or odd, and a number that ends in 8 is going to be an even number. So it comes down here and lands in bin G. Okay, so that's our very strange sorting machine. Now you've got some to do in that one as well. If we go to what you're going to be doing today, you're going to be putting some numbers into that sorting machine yourself and working out what bin they go into. And then after that, here's our work page here. So you're going to need to put some numbers in there using the sorting machine. But I wanted to just draw your attention to this one, the Venn diagram, and just remind you how Venn diagrams work. So this is going to be all of the whole numbers. We're not using fractions or decimals, just whole numbers. In this part of the circle here, we're going to have numbers that have 5 or 0 in the ones place, okay? So using these numbers over here, it says write each number on page 166 in the correct part of the Venn diagram. So if it's got a 5 or a 0 in the ones place. So this one would go into this part of the circle. This one is all of the even numbers. Okay, so 775 isn't an even number, so it can't go in there. The ones that go in the middle, this section here where they overlap, they're going to be the ones that have a 5 or a 0 in the ones place and are even numbers. Okay, so that's what that overlapping section is there. Now, a number that ends in 5 can't be an even number, so it's not going to go into the middle. But if it ends in a 0, 230, that would be an even number and it would have a 0 in the ones place. So that can go into the middle there. Okay, you're going to go and do pages 166 and 167 in your maths book.